So what this is going to be, we're going to basically take you through like a little warm-up through the 90-90. We're going to take every single part of your hip really through a quick little short range of active range of motion. And it's really just, like I said, like a dynamic warm-up, but in the 90-90. It's something that you can do daily. That's only going to take a few minutes, and you'll be able to kind of solidify all the gains that you've been doing with your pails and rails as far as your IR, your external rotation, even some of the hip flexion and all the other stuff that we're doing. So the first thing I want her to do is basically going to be a kinetic stretch. She's going to face this front shin. She's going to get her arms out to the side, and she's going to try to stay super long in her spine. And she's going to use her rails contraction, so which is the inner thigh, basically thinking about lifting this hip into her chest, and she's going to pull herself all the way deep into it. Once she gets all the way over it, I want her to actually be able to stay there for a quick second. Now she's going to push that hip through the ground and get herself all the way back up. There is no tension lost throughout this whole entire situation. You will fall on your chest if you do. Do one more. Make sure that you're not just falling there. Gravity is not working here. We're working against it, and she's actually pulling herself deeper while also tensioning the hip down too, so you're going against that gravity. Once she gets out to that end range, try to get your belly button over the shin. Notice that her butt tucked under her and hinged back. Now drive all the way back up, all the way up. So that's your kinetic stretch for the front hip, okay? So maybe 3, 5, 10 reps of that. Now we're gonna do for the internal rotation of this back hip. So she's gonna keep that same tension with the hands, and she's gonna try to turn and reach for this right heel. So she's gonna turn her upper back and really reach and get all the way over to here. You can even take that left hand and bring it here too, and try to really, really turn and reach and basically side bend so she can get as close to this heel as possible, and then just go up and turn to the left again. Again, pull herself deeper here. She's thinking about lifting this heel into her hands as she pulls herself there, and then doing the exact opposite, pushing away and coming all the way back. So that's your kinetic stretch for the internal rotation. So the next one that we're going to do here is going to be a passive range hold for external rotation of the hip in the 90-90. So similar to the rubber guard. What we're actually doing is we're going to get as deep into it as we can. So you can see her spine is long. She's all the way in it. She's going to start to tension her whole entire body up, especially that back hip into the ground and even this front hip pushing into the ground. And on the count of 3, she's going to lift her hands up and hold. So ready? 3, 2, 1. Lift the hands up, hold. She's going to just work on really, really staying here. She's making it look easy. This is not easy. It's okay if you cramp. Get out of it. Get back into it. Holding this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hands go down, relax for a second, see if you can pull yourself even deeper into it, so get all the way into it, maybe find a different line of tension to get stronger in. Big deep breath in, exhale everything out, pull the belly button down, trap air in her lower abs, ready, lift, 5, 4, you can hold 10, 20, 15, however many seconds you want, at least 10 hopefully, 3, 2, 1, relax, okay? So that's going to be your passive range hold from the 90-90. The next one that we're going to be doing is going to be a passive range hold for internal rotation now. So she's basically going to get as far into that internal rotation of the hip as possible. So this is all the way in, and she is getting as close to that heel as possible. Again, she's pretty far. A lot of people's hands are going to be out to here. We're going to start off with our hands down, take a big deep breath in, exhale everything out. And now she's just going to lift those hands up and hold there, and she's thinking about lifting that heel into her hands as if it's actually turning all the way up, and holding 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hands go down, breathe. Give yourself a couple of seconds to get your composure back, exhale everything out, sniff air into the abs, get tight, and lift. Another 10 seconds there. And that's going to be your hold, 10, 15, add as much seconds as you can, work your way up, progressively overload those tissues. Relax. So on this one, what we're going to do is we're going to work on a lift off similar to the rubber guard. So this is going to be for external rotation of the hip. We're not thinking about lifting this knee yet. We're actually thinking about the hip actually turning out and lifting the heel. As far as where your hand is, she's pretty advanced, so it's going to be there. But go ahead and put your elbow over there. You could get as far as you can this way, and it'll get easier. So let's have her do a rep here. So you'll see that gets nice and high. She's literally turning the hip. You should feel the deepest part of your butt actually doing it. Relax that down. So that's 1 rep. Do 10 reps, hold for 1 Mississippi's, work your way to 12, 15. Now we're gonna get that hand up higher. The farther this way you are, the harder it is. Now we're gonna try to lift, and you'll see it won't get as high, but she's really just turning at the hip. It's not just the foot lifting up, but the foot does lift up, obviously. Knee staying down and down, good. So you're gonna work on that, about 10 reps, 5, mess around with that. So the next one that we've also showed you already is just going to be part of this little quick routine. It's also in the IR part 2 if you want a deeper understanding of it. What we're really doing is this hip is turning inward, and we're just lifting that back foot up because the hip's turning. We don't want any weight shift or anything. She's going to hold for 1 second, then put that down. Again, hold for 1 second, then put that down. Pretty difficult. For this one, we can actually mess around. This is really advanced. She's going to turn her chest towards the camera. And then from here, we're going to try to stay nice and tight. We're going to try to lift that off. Good. And down. You can see we have a little bit of movement through the lower back and the whole entire body. That's okay. It's just because this is so hard. Okay? But try to avoid that. The goal is for only the hip to turn inward. The next one in this little series is going to be just lifting the entire front hip off. Now we are going to let the knee lift off, and we're going to use a little bit more of the adductors and everything on the inside. So what she's going to do is she's allowed to lean as much as you need to, but no more than that. So what I mean is don't re-lean. So she's got her hand dug in the ground, it's clawing at the ground, she's not bending at the elbow, she's not gonna re-lean, she's only already solidified her position, okay? So now this whole entire hip lifts as high as we can, like you're pulling into your chest, just like the rails in the EX, okay? Now slowly come down, make sure you place it on the ground. For all of our lift-offs, really drop, make sure you don't just plump it down. Next one, lift all the way and fight for everything you can. And slowly put that down. Say she wanted to make it harder, we would bring those hands forward more and even over it, okay? She's not gonna be able to lift here. There you go, a little bit, okay? So it's gonna come a little bit off, and don't re-lean at all, okay? So that's gonna be, for that front hip, the next one that we want you guys to do. So next one that we got right here is going to be the entire back hip is going to lift up. Okay, you're going to feel a lot of the side of the butt and all that stuff working. What we want to do is lift the knee and the heel at the same time. So I want them to come up at the same height at the same time. It's going to look just like this. All the way up, hold, slowly come down. Both of them touch at the same time. So a bad one's going to look like this. Lift your heel first. Good, now that. So you can see we're internally rotating the hip instead of just lifting it all as one, which is not the goal of this rep, okay? How she's gonna make that harder, way harder, she's gonna go ahead and turn towards it, get close to it, and now she's gonna try to lift that all the way up. Good, so you can see super difficult. So we back her away from it a little bit, make it a little bit easier. We can even take one finger, put one finger on the ground, 3 fingers, 5 fingers, so you have different levels of how you can really progress yourself. And then she's gonna try to lift that whole entire thing. Awesome, good, really difficult, okay? Next one that we're gonna do is actually gonna be a knee hinge or a hover. We're basically gonna open that front hip all the way up and lift it, and then straighten it all the way out and even turn from the hip. She's gonna place it down on the ground, then we're gonna lift it all the way up and then pull it all the way back. A couple of key things here. We want everything to happen in steps. Notice that she has her right hand on the ground, 5 fingers, 4 fingers, 3 fingers. The less help you have, the harder it is. We're allowed to lean, so the farther she leans to the right, the easier it is. If you needed to, you could even get on an elbow and then straighten it all the way out. But at the same time, we want to try to progress ourselves and make sure that once you lean, you don't re-lean. That's really the key takeaway with this one. So she's gonna go ahead and do one more, lift it all the way up, straighten it out. You're gonna notice the hip's gonna turn. We're gonna try to kind of get the toes up to the ceiling. From here, say you're really bad at this position, just real quick, axial car, so turn your toes all the way that way, turn them all the way back, and you can see kind of your limitations from this position. Now lift up, bring that all the way back, slowly place that down. Okay, so that's going to be the hardest part of this sequence, and now we're going to show you the internal one. Last one in this series is going to be the internal rotation hover. So we're lifting, we're hinging from the knee. A lot of things happening here. Again, you're going to lean, but don't re-lean. From here, we're going to try to keep the inside of the knee facing the ground. She's going to lift this all the way up. Then she's going to straighten it all the way out, place it on the ground. Notice the inside of the knee is still facing the ground, so her hip didn't turn open. Now she's going to lift that all the way up, curl that hamstring back to 90, slowly place that down. One more rep, make sure that you irradiate, get everything tight. Notice the fist is strong. We're using power and tension all the way down. Notice she placed it down, she didn't drop it. all the way up, slowly curl back, slowly place down, everything done with control. So that's a quick little warm-up that you can use with your 90-90. It's going to help keep the range of motion that you're actually gaining from your pails and rails, and just really kind of get your hips moving in every single direction, and your knees and even your ankles all at the same time. Okay.